And a very pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Pioneer Park on the campus of Tusculum University for South Atlantic Conference, or non-conference baseball doubleheader action today between the South Atlantic Conference's Tusculum University Pioneers and the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference representatives, the Lightning of Goldey-Beacom College. I'm Jim Miller. I'll be with you for Game 1 of today's twin bill between the Lightning and the Pioneers, a doubleheader that, quite honestly, 24 hours ago, we didn't know if we would even be able to get any games in, as heavy rains across the area for the last several days, lots of flooding in the area, some back roads still closed, but the tarp was on Pioneer Park over the weekend, and the field is looking good. It is very, very windy here today. The wind is blowing out hard to left field, as you can see in the left side of the your picture. The wind, the flag just to the left of the scoreboard, blowing out hard to left field. Wind normally blows out to left as it is, but today that flag is starched, and it could be an adventure for fly balls today. Could be a long ball day as well here at Pioneer Park. Tusculum coming in with a 6-7 record, but they've won 5 in a row, including a win on Monday at Lander by a score of 6-5. The Lightning are 1-1 on the season. They came to Gaffney, South Carolina last weekend to play Limestone. Split a doubleheader with the Saints, losing the game 1 5-4 and winning game 2 by a score of 5-0. So Goldey-Beacom trying to get their swings back in gear here before they return home, and they'll start their home schedule next weekend against New Haven, while the Pioneers are going to be getting set for their conference opener next weekend on the road at Wingate. Charles Hall getting the start for the Pioneers this afternoon. Hall has not allowed an earned run in 17 innings of work this season. 17 innings, 32 strikeouts for Hall in 3 starts with a 2-0 record. He's being opposed by Mitch Guerreri, the right-hander, who is making his season debut for the Lightning. The lineups for today's Game 1 for Goldey-Beacom, leading off in left field, is Maurice Parson. Brandon Abdul, the designated hitter, bats second. Calvin Clark at first base hits third. Cole Collins at third base batting fourth. Justin Hill, the shortstop, bats fifth. Jeff Gillis, the right fielder, hits sixth. Trent Hearn in center field hits seventh. Ivan Solis at the catcher hitting eighth. And Mason Maxwell plays second base and bats ninth. That's the lineup behind Mitch Guerreri, the right-hander for Goldey-Beacom. Guerreri, a sophomore out of Greentown, Pennsylvania, will be making his season debut today. Tusculum starting lineup, they'll have Jaden Stiegel leading off at shortstop. Dalton Martin at second base bats second. Bryson Ford, the third baseman, hits third. Nate Montgomery catching, batting fourth. Trey Hinton at first base bats fifth. Zach Fincham, designated hitter today, hitting sixth. Jarrell McDade in left field hits seventh. Sam Urban playing right field in Game 1, he'll bat eighth. And Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, bats ninth. That's the lineup behind Charles Hall. Hall, the senior right-hander out of Dumfries, Virginia. Again, a 2-0 record in 3 starts this season. 55 degrees will be the first pitch temperature today. Wind officially clocked at 22 miles an hour out to left field. And it is a little bit partly cloudy today, I'd say, but at least the sun is out. We haven't seen the sun in several days. And the most important thing, there's no chance of rain today. So the Pioneers taking the field behind Charles Hall. Tusculum coached by Brandon Steele, the longtime assistant, now in his first season as head coach. Tom Riley, the head coach for Goldey-Beacom. Teams making their way out of the field, and we will pause at this time for our national anthem.
The Tusculum University Athletics Department respectfully ask that you please stand for the gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor our nation with the playing of our national anthem.
Our national anthem prior to the start of today's doubleheader between Tusculum and Goldey-Beacom. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Pioneer Sports Network. Our producer today is Nick Forsberg, and I'm Jim Miller. I'll be along for Game 1 of our doubleheader. PJ Green scheduled to come along for Game 2 of our twin bill. The defensive lineup for the Pioneers today: behind Charles Hall in left field is Jarrell McDade. Seth DeHaven is in center field. Sam Urban in right. Around the diamond, it is Bryson Ford, the third baseman. Jaden Stiegel at short, Dalton Martin at second, and Trey Hinton playing first base. The catcher is Nate Montgomery. For the right-hander, Charles Hall. Hall, a 6'1 senior, 6-foot senior, 170 pounds, out of Dumfries, Virginia, at Catawba Valley Community College. Hall making his fourth start of the season. He's 2-0, with a 0-point ERA. 17 innings, allowed 11 hits, 4 runs, all of them unearned. He's walked 3, struck out 32, and opponents are hitting 180 against him. So Hall getting the start here for the Pioneers. 2 starts ago against Belmont Abbey, he struck out 16 in a no decision. But today he's out there to take on this Goldey-Beacom team. His last start was against Notre Dame of Ohio last weekend on February the 15th. A 15-0 victory. Hall went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, no runs. Struck out 10 and walked 2. The Pioneers won that game 15-0. That was on February the 15th, last Friday here at Pioneer Park. His other start, a win against Barry back in the season opener on February 1st, when he worked 5 innings, allowed 2 hits, 2 unearned runs, struck out 6, a 7-3 Tusculum victory. Calling balls and strikes today in Game 1 will be Bo Turner. Chad Bell will be working the bases. First of 4 games this weekend, weekend into week for these two teams, as they'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. Start time is to be announced. Most likely it will probably be about a noon start. It's going to depend on when we get wrapped up here today. Of course, we're going to get Goldey-Beacom on the road as they will head back to Wilmington, Delaware. Leading off for Goldey-Beacom is the left fielder Maurice Parson. He is 4 for 8 on the season. Hall always works from the stretch. And the first pitch of today's doubleheader, coming in at 2:01, is a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Maurice Parson. Parson, a sophomore out of Newcastle, Delaware, attended Delaware State. Next pitch from Hall, check swing, and it's strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Parson. Hall with set, and the 1-1 pitch. In there for a strike, 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Parson. Hall ready now with the 1-2 pitch. It's fouled at the plate, still 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes, the count to Maurice Parson. Parson went 3 for 4 in his most recent game against Limestone. He swings and misses and down on strikes to begin the ball game. Parsons out on strikes, 1 out here in the first inning. It'll bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Abdul. Abdul making his first appearance of the season. Abdul, a senior out of Old Bridge, New Jersey. Last year was first team all-conference as a pitcher. He takes that one for a ball. Abdul made 10 starts last season. Also hit .282 on the year, so a dual threat as a pitcher and a hitter. This one's back into center field, a base hit for Abdul. So his first at bat of the season is a hit. Abdul pitched the season opener for the Lightning. A 5-4 loss to Limestone, gave up 2 runs in 5 innings. Be the first baseman Calvin Clark checking in. Clark, senior out of Millville, New Jersey, 5'9", 220, went to Cumberland Community College. Stretch by Hall. And the first pitch is taken high for a ball, 1-0. Clark started 27 games last year for Goldey-Beacom, hitting .239 with a homer and 12 runs batted in. This year he's 1 for 3 in one start. Throw over to first. Back safety is Abdul. Clark has hit 6 career home runs. He hit 5 as a junior. Stretch by Hall. And the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike one. 1-1 strike, the count to Calvin Clark. Stretch by Hall. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 1-2 strikes, the count to Calvin Clark. Time is called as Hall and Montgomery trying to get together on pitch. One ball and two strikes, the count to Clark. Throw it back over to first. Abdul is in with a dive. The stretch by Hall. And the 1-2 pitch is check swing. Did he go? He went. He cannot run. He's out, but it is a wild pitch. It'll move Abdul up to second base. So Clark is out on strikes. That is the second strikeout of the inning for Hall. 2 down here in the first. And it'll bring up the third baseman, Cole Collins. Collins 3 for 6 in the early going for the Lightning. Collins, junior out of Laurel, Delaware, attended Sussex Tech. Collins has hit safely in both games so far for the Lightning. Last year, a .240 hitter, 19 RBIs. Hall's pitch is there for a strike. One strike to count to Cole Collins. Justin Hill, the shortstop, waits on deck. Collins went 2 for 3 in the season opener and then 1 for 3 in the second game against Limestone last weekend. Time is called at the plate. One strike to count to Collins. Hall's pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Collins. Abdul, the runner at second base. Hall looking in for the sign and comes set. Setting up outside is Montgomery, the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, swing and a miss. Now it's foul tipped. Foul tip. Still alive. Collins chased one that was in the dirt, but apparently he got just enough of it to foul it off. And it's still no balls and 2 strikes to Cole Collins. There's Hill waiting on deck. And Abdul, the runner at second. 0-2, the count remains to Cole Collins. Hall with the stretch. And looks the runner back to second. So 0-2 the count. Hall. Ready at the belt. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on another pitch that bounced up there. And Montgomery applies the tag and strikes out the side. Does Charles Hall. No runs, a hit, and one left. Middle of the first. It's Goldey-Beacom 0. Tusculum coming to bat on the Pioneer Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingles has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Bottom of the first inning here at Pioneer Park with Tusculum coming to bat, scoreless with Goldey-Beacom Lightning. Tusculum's lineup, Jaden Stiegel leading off at shortstop, Dalton Martin at second base hit second, Bryson Ford, the third baseman, hitting third, Nate Montgomery catching and batting fourth, Trey Hinton at first base bats fifth, Zach Fincham, designated hitter, batting sixth, Jarrell McDade in left field hit seventh, Sam Urban in right field batting eighth, and Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, batting ninth. They will face the right-hander, Mitch Guerreri, for the Goldey-Beacom Lightning. Guerreri making his first start of the season last year. Guerreri was 4-5 on the year with a 3.84 earned run average. He made 13 starts, completed 4 of them through 65 and 2/3 innings, allowed 59 hits, 28 earned runs, 46 strikeouts. He walked 32, and opponents hit 249 against him. Guerreri also hit 10 batters last season. He finished second in the CACC with 4 complete games. Set a school record with 65 and 2/3 innings pitched in last year's season for the Lightning. Of course, Goldey-Beacom just in their infancy as a program, as they are in their third season as a varsity program. 2 years ago in their season debut in 2017, they went 10-35 last season. Improved that record to 19-28-1. And 1-1 so far this season. Guerreri ready to work against Jaden Stiegel. Stiegel hitting .366, no home runs, 8 RBIs. First pitch to him. Checks the swing, but takes a strike. 1 strike to count to Stiegel. Stiegel, the true freshman out of Hiram, Georgia. Next pitch is taken for a ball. Stiegel started all 13 games, had his 7-game hitting streak come to an end at Lander on Monday. He's reached base safely, however, in 10 straight. 1-1 pitch, outside corner, 1-2. Stiegel went 3 for 13, or check that. 4 for 12 in last weekend's series against Notre Dame. Hit safely in all 4 games. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to him here leading off the first. Guerreri ready to go with the 1-2 pitch. high, 2-2. Martin and Ford to follow here in the first for the Pioneers. Tusculum 4-0 at home this season, 2-7 on the road. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit towards second. Taking it on a big hop is the second baseman Maxwell, and he throws to first in time for the out. One down here in the bottom of the first will bring up the designated hitter Dalton Martin. Martin hitting .385, or second baseman Dalton Martin hitting .385, 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. 13 games, Martin has scored 11 runs and walked 14 times. Also stolen 6 bases. 13 preseason All-American. Last year was a second-team All-American by the baseball writers and third-team by the coaches. So he fouls the first pitch away for strike one. Also first-team All-Region, first-team All-Conference was Dalton Martin. Last year hit .413 for the Pioneers with 43 RBIs in 52 games. Career .394 average, 92 RBIs, and 11 career home runs. A junior, 5'10" out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. 1 strike to him. Guerreri's pitch is in the dirt, 1-1. Martin has reached base safely in all 13 games. He was 0 for 3 with 2 walks against Lander last Monday. 1-1 pitch, inside corner, strike 2. Last weekend against Notre Dame, Martin hit a grand slam home run in the Pioneers' 15-0 victory over Notre Dame. He went 7 for 14 in the series as Bryson Ford waits on deck. The 1-2 pitch, line to left center field, is going to drop in for a base hit as Parson will play it on the bounce, and Martin has a base hit with 1 out here in the first. I'll bring up the third baseman, Bryson Ford. Martin just found the hole in left center field, dropped it right in front of the left fielder Parson. So Martin, a 1-out base runner for Ford, who's batting .348, no home runs, 10 RBIs. Ford, the sophomore out of Knoxville, 6 foot, 190 pounds. Bunts down the third base line. It's a good one, and they will never get him. Guerreri could have just put that one in his back pocket. As safe at first base on the bunt single is Bryson Ford. And the Pioneers quickly have 2 on and 1 out here in the first inning. Ford catching the third baseman Collins back and just dropped that bunt down the third baseline. A perfect bunt. And Guerreri had no chance. So back-to-back singles. And it'll bring out the catcher Nate Montgomery. Montgomery hitting .231, no home runs, 2 runs batted in. Montgomery, 6'1", 215-pound senior out of Geneva, Illinois. Batting with 2 on and 1 out here in the first inning. First pitch to him is outside for a ball, 1-0. Montgomery, honorable mention all-conference last year after he hit .315, knocked in 38 runs. Montgomery was 2 for 4 on Monday against Lander in the most recent game. That pitch is outside, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Nate Montgomery. Martin, the runner at second base, with Ford on at first. Todd Miller coaching third base for the Pioneers. John Topoleski over at first. 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Montgomery. Stretching the 2-0 pitch is on the outside corner, strike 1. 2 balls and a strike to Nate Montgomery. Stretched by Guerreri in the pitch. Hit in the hole towards second. Past diving Maxwell into right field. It's a base hit. Around third is Martin. He will score standing. And over to third base goes Ford. And Montgomery has an RBI single. That's his third RBI of the year and gives the Pioneers a 1-0 lead. Montgomery just shot that one in the hole as they were playing towards double play depth. And he was able to just find that gap at the diving Maxwell. As you see on the replay, Montgomery just kind of inside outs it to Maxwell's left, and he was playing more up the middle. He almost got, it looked like he got a little piece of it, but not enough to slow it down as it went into right field for a base hit. So runners at the corners now with one out for Trey Hinton, the first baseman. Hinton hitting 167, 3 for 18 with an RBIs. Montgomery back at first safely with a dive. Montgomery in his career has 1 stolen base in 62 games. So Hinton, the batter, another throw to first, and again safely back is Montgomery. Hinton played the weekend series last weekend against Notre Dame, his first real action of the season. And he went 2 for 14 in that series, 2 for 13 with an RBI. Also drew 5 walks. Hinton with a good eye at the plate. Sophomore out of Knoxville, CAK, Christian Academy of Knoxville. Batting with Ford at third, Montgomery at first, and one out here in the first with Tusculum leading 1-0. Taken on the corner for a strike, one strike to Trey Hinton. So 3 straight singles here for the Pioneers and manufacture their first run of the game. The 0-1 pitch inside, it's blocked by the catcher Solis, but moving up to second base on the wild pitch is Montgomery. So the Pioneers now with runners at second and third and one out. And a 1-1 count to Hinton. Long stretch by Guerreri. 1-1 pitch. Chopped to second. This will get a run in. Maxwell has it to his left. His throw to first is in time. Coming in to score is Ford as Montgomery moves over to third. So Hinton gets the job done, knocks in the run, and the Pioneers lead it 2-0. Hinton's second RBI of the season. That's all you need to do in that spot is just put it in play. And it was a pitch that was inside, but Hinton able to get the bat out enough and hit it to the right side, allowing the runner to score and the other runner to move up. So 2-0 Pioneers, as stepping up to the plate is Zach Fincham, designated hitter today. Fincham hitting .282 with 7 RBIs this year. First pitch is fouled back to the screen, 1 strike. One strike the count to Zach Fincham, grad student from Greenville High School. He went 3 for 7 in last weekend's series against Notre Dame as that pitch is low and away for a ball. Ball and a strike to Fincham. Sam Urban getting the start in right field here in game 1. Ball and a strike the count to Fincham with Montgomery at third base and 2 outs here in the first, and Tusculum leading by a score of 1-0. There's Montgomery over at third. Pitch on the inside corner, strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Zach Fincham. Fincham, a career .303 hitter, 166 career hits for the Pioneers, 67 career RBIs. Just 1 home run came in his freshman season. The 1-2 pitch to him is lined to right field. Gillis has it lined up, and he makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Pioneers get 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits and leave 1. The end of 1 complete inning. It is Tusculum 2 and Goldey-Beacom nothing on the Pioneers Sports Network.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County and you farm tomatoes, then you're in. Just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people. And Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce Farms, and they really care about their customers. We're just glad to be a part of that. God has blessed us with a really great partnership there. They make fresh local produce have real meaning for lots of people. I'm Shane Pierce, and this is my Ingalls story.
Top of the second inning here at Pioneer Park, with Tusculum leading Goldey-Beacom by a score of 2-0. Leading off for the Lightning here in the second is the shortstop Justin Hill. Hill is 1 for 6 so far this season with an RBI. Hill, a junior, 5'11", 185 pounds, out of Seaford, Delaware. Last season he hit 193 in 48 starts with 13 RBIs. He swings and misses the first pitch. As a freshman, Hill hit 261 in 45 games with 3 homers, 24 RBIs. One strike to count to Hill, leading off the second. And pitches inside for a ball, 1-1. Hill, Gillis, and Hearn scheduled for the Lightning here in the second inning. Hall with the stretch, and the pitch to Hill is low for a ball, 2-1. Hall has started every game in his career. This is 96th career start. He checks his swing and fouls it back and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Justin Hill. Again, this is just a third-year program, so he has started every game in the history of the Goldey-Beacom baseball program. 2-2 the count to him. Hall's pitch, just a little bit high. It's a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count to Hill. Infield and outfield both straight away, both medium depth. Hall's full count pitch. It's up and away, ball 4. So Hill is a leadoff base runner on the walk. Just the 4th walk allowed by Hall in 18 innings of work this season. He is a leadoff base runner. For the right fielder, Jeff Gillis. Gillis is 1 for 5 on the season in 2 starts. Gillis is a sophomore, 5'9", 185 pounds, out of Hockessin, Delaware. Hall with the long set, and the pitch to Gillis is low for a ball, 1-0. Gillis last season saw some limited time for the Lightning. Went 3 for 24 in 23 appearances, mostly apparently as a pinch hitter. So he started only 5 games. Looking for his first career extra base hit, which he got in the season earlier this season down at Limestone. Did not, all 3 of his hits last year were singles, but his first hit of this season was a 2-bagger. Hill, the runner at first base, does have a stolen base this season. Stretched by Hall, and the 1-0 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Montgomery, 2-0. So Hall a little bit in need of trying to find the zone here in this second inning as he walked the leadoff batter on a full count. Now he's 2-0 on Gillis. Hall checks the runner, and time is called at the plate. Two balls and no strikes to count. The wind has shifted a little bit. That flag that was blowing straight out to left earlier is now blowing more towards center field, which not a frequent occurrence here at Pioneer Park. 2-0 pitch is inside. 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 the count to Gillis. Last season he drew 7 walks. So Hall has a hill to climb here to this batter. 3-0 pitch. Outside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks allowed by Hall. Hall at times had some control issues last season, but he's been pretty good so far. Again, just 3 walks in 18 innings coming into this frame, and now he's walked back-to-back batters. And it'll be the center fielder Trent Hearn at the plate. Hearn has started 1 game this season and went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Hearn is a sophomore, 5'10", 160 pounds, out of Bethel, Delaware. Also went to Sussex Tech along with Hill and Collins, his teammates on the diamond. So batting with 2 on and no outs here in the second is Hearn. First pitch showing bunt, takes a strike. Last year Hearn hit 167. But walked 22 times. Get his on-base percentage up to a .331 mark. Showing bunt, he has good bat skills. He sacrificed 9 times 2 years ago. Actually, looking at his stats, is from 2 years ago, 2017. So 1 strike to count to Hearn. The stretch by Hall. Showing bunt again. Did he offer at it? They're going to appeal it, and they say he did. So he offers at the bunt and misses. It's no balls and 2 strikes. So 0-2 the count to Trent Hearn. Hall will try and go for the punch out here. The stretch and the 0-2 pitch. Right there, strike 3. Hall comes back with the slider and gets Hearn looking. First strikeout of the inning for Hall. 4th strikeout of the game. All 4 outs have been recorded by strikeout. Ivan Solis, the batter, he's making his season debut. And making his team debut, 5'7", 175-pound catcher out of La Chorrera, Panama, by way of Cumberland Community College. Hall. First pitch is swung on a miss, strike 1. 1 strike to count to Solis. Hall will try and roll up a double play ground ball if he can. Outside low, blocked by the catcher Montgomery. Ball and a strike to count to Solis. Last year at Cumberland Community College, he hit .371 with 26 runs batted in. One ball, 1 strike to count to Solis. The stretch and the 1-1 pitch is low and outside, 1-1. 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is not the first time that Solis has played here at Pioneer Park. He was part of the Cumberland Community College team that played in the National Junior College World Series 2 years ago. Solis was 3 for 11 in those 4 games that Cumberland played. And JCAA Division III World Series will be here again in May. That pitch is inside, 3-1. 3 balls and a strike, the count to Solis. So Hall in danger of walking the bases loaded. Three and one the count. And now Hall will step off the rubber. The stretch by Hall. Pickoff play at second, and they've got him. Oh, no, he's in there safely. Martin looked like he was going to get the tag down, but they say that he didn't get it down, and back in safely was the runner Hill. No protest from Martin, so I'll assume they got that one right. Good timing play there, and just back in ahead of the tag, as you can see on the replay. And, yeah, it looks like he did slide around. Martin trying to tag the torso instead of the arm is where the throw came in. 3-1 the count remains to Solis. Maxwell, the second baseman, waits on deck. 3-1 pitch. Low, ball 4. So Hall has equaled his season walk total in this inning, as he has walked the bases loaded now with 1 out for the second baseman, Mason Maxwell. Maxwell is 0 for 2 this season in 1 start. Maxwell, a 6'3", 215-pound freshman out of Newfield, New Jersey. Left-handed batter. Maxwell will step out. So Hall in a jam here in this second inning as the bases are loaded all on walks. Hill at third, Gillis at second, Solis at first. Hall with his first pitch. Right there for a strike. 1 strike to count to Mason Maxwell. Maxwell started the season opener and went 0 for 2 at the plate. Was also hit by a pitch. And did ground into a double play. If that becomes a possibility here. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes the count to Maxwell. Tusculum middle infield looking for possibility of rolling up a double play ball here. They have turned 9 double plays of the ground ball variety in 13 games. The 0-2 to Maxwell. Breaking ball just high for a ball, 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Maxwell. Hall. Long set, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. It got him. Montgomery unable to hang on to the ball, but it doesn't matter as bases are loaded, less than 2 outs. So 5th strikeout for Hall. Just 1 batter has put a ball in play so far. That was Abdul, who singled with 1 out in the first. Since then, other than that, it's been 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. And Parson, the left fielder who struck out to lead off the game, now batting. So it'll be up to Parson here to try and drive in this run as the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Chops one foul down the first base side, and Montgomery will go out and retrieve it. 1 strike to count to Maurice Parson. Bases loaded on walks here in this second inning, but Hall has a chance to see his way out of it now with 2 outs in the frame. Hall comes set. And the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Maurice Parson. No balls and 2 strikes. Hall steps off the rubber. Stretch. And the 0-2 pitch. Inside, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to count to Maurice Parson. Stretch by Hall. 1-2 pitch. It's low, blocked by Montgomery, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the second inning. Bases loaded. Hall looking for his 6th strikeout. The stretch. Long stretch. 2-2 pitch. Inside, it's a full count. So, everybody will be off with the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tusculum leading 2-0 here in the second. Hall has walked 3, struck out 2 here in this second inning. This pitch will determine whether or not he gets away unscathed. He'll step off the rubber. Hill, the runner at third, he walked. Gillis at second, he walked. And Solis at first, he walked. Solis getting a big lead off of first base, but Hinton, the first baseman, playing back. Now Hall steps off again. Hall, a very deliberate worker on the mound. Now Montgomery wants to go out and talk to him. They cannot get together on the sign. So 3-2 will be the pitch to the left fielder, Parson, with bases loaded and 2 outs here in the second. Hall, ready. Comes the belt. 3-2 pitch. Inside, ball 4. And it's a run for the Lightning as Hill will cross the plate. 4 walks in the inning by Hall. The last one to Parson, driving in a run. First earned run of the season given up by Charles Hall. Parson's 3rd RBI of the season. And it's 2-1 Pioneers. Still bases loaded, still 2 outs for the designated hitter Brandon Abdul, who singled back in the first. Abdul, the only batter who's put a ball in fair territory against Hall so far today. Hall's pitch taken for a strike. 1 strike to count to Brandon Abdul. Hall, ready to work. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Brandon Abdul. Bases loaded, 2 outs here, top of the second inning, with 1 run in. The 0-2 pitch. Checks his swing, and it's a ball. Pitch was outside. And there's more of a half swing by, or maybe a quarter of a swing there by Abdul, not nearly enough to go around. 1-2 the count. One-two pitch, fouled away to the screen. Still 1-2 the count to Abdul. So Hall, the 1-2 count. And the pitch. Hit up the middle. Martin can't get it. It's into center field. A base hit. 2 runs are going to score. Gillis scores. Solis scores. Throw to third is thrown away by Hinton. And coming up and running into to score is Parson. 3 runs score on the play on the throwing error, allowing the last run to score. 4 runs in the inning for the Lightning. They lead it 4-2. Abdul singling up the middle as it went past Martin into center field. Then both runners scored from second and third. DeHaven came up throwing. Hinton had the cut, and his throw to third sailed past the third baseman, Ford, and allowed the third run to score. And now here comes Tusculum head coach Brandon Steele as the Lightning are lit. 4 runs in the inning, and they lead it 4-2. For the moment, the third run of the inning, or fourth run of the inning, is unearned. The first 3 runs all earned. So Hall, fighting the control problems, finally leaves one for Abdul, who gets the single and drives in a pair. And the Lightning take the lead. Steele says his piece, and he'll return back to the dugout. 4 runs here for Goldey-Beacom, just 1 hit in the inning, but it was a big one, the 2-run single by Brandon Abdul. So the Pioneers will have to work from behind here as the first baseman, Calvin Clark, will come to the plate. Clark struck out in the first. Stretching the first pitch to him is there for a strike. 1 strike to count to Clark. One strike to count to Calvin Clark. Abdul over at third base. Hall's pitch, fouled away, 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Calvin Clark. Hall's 0-2 pitch, fouled away, still 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. The count holds to Calvin Clark. Swing and a miss. He got him. And the side is retired. So after all that, Hall strikes out the side, but 4 walks and a single allow 4 runs to score. There's also an error and one left on base. Middle of the second, it's Goldey-Beacom 4, Tusculum 2 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
You're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family. The first date.
Bottom of the second inning as the Pioneers will try and bounce back after giving up 4 runs in the top of the second inning, trailing now 4-2 to Goldey-Beacom. It'll be Jarrell McDade, Sam Urban, and Seth DeHaven, the Pioneer outfielders, due up here to start this bottom of the second inning against Mitch Guerreri, who's now pitching with the lead. He gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning on 3 hits. No bullpen activity for the Pioneers, despite the control problems in that second inning from Charles Hall. First pitch to McDade is lined foul down the right side. McDade hitting 192, 10 for 52 at the plate. He started all 13 games. He has knocked in 12 runs, which leads the team. McDade still looking for his first home run of the season. The ball's in 2 strikes to McDade, who's preseason second team all region, preseason first team all conference. Last year, McDade with 10 home runs, 45 RBIs. Also, he walked 32 times in 52 games last season, but he has not walked yet this year. Just 1 extra base hit so far for the senior out of Magnolia, Texas. The 1-1 count, the pitch, hit in the air to center field. Coming in as the right fielder, Gillis. He has it for the out. Tough conditions to try and catch a ball today in the outfield, so he does well to make that catch on the first real pop-up of the day. So 1 out for the right fielder, Sam Urban. Urban hitting 2 for 26, 077 with no RBIs this season. Last year, Urban, a part-time starter for the Pioneers, hit 167. That pitch is in there for a strike to Sam Urban, senior out of Purcellville, Virginia. 6'1", 205 pounds. Getting the start in right field this afternoon. Next pitch drops in there for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Sam Urban. Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, waits on deck. Low and in for a ball, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to count to Sam Urban. Time is called. Urban backs away from the plate. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. First strikeout of the game for Guerreri, 2 outs here in the second. Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, will come to the plate. DeHaven, 7 starts this year, a .238 average, 5 for 21, 4 runs batted in. Also has the team's only triple of the season. DeHaven, the senior out of Fort Myers, Florida, 5'8", 165 pounds. Last year knocked in 22 runs in 47 games. He hits that one to third, a nice diving catch by the third baseman Collins to end the inning. Cole Collins laying out to his left to make the grab on the liner by DeHaven, and that'll end the bottom of the second inning. 1-2-3 inning for Guerreri. We're through 2. It's Goldey-Beacom 4, Tusculum 2 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time.
Wow, it's funny running into you.
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Top of the third inning here at Pioneer Park. Leading off for the Lightning is the third baseman Cole Collins, who just made that grab to end the bottom of the second inning. Collins struck out to end the first, takes that pitch high for a ball, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Collins. Will be followed by Hill and Gillis here in the third. Hall's 1-0 pitch is up and in for a ball, 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes to count to Cole Collins. Hall with the 2-0 pitch. Hit to center field, more to right center field. DeHaven on the run, he can't get there. It'll land on the warning track. DeHaven picks it up, gets it back into the infield, but on its second base with the double is Cole Collins, leading off the third inning. Collins' first extra base hit of the season. He's a leadoff base runner here in the third. For the shortstop, Justin Hill, who got that second inning rally going with a leadoff walk. Hall already up at about 55 pitches. He struck out 6 and walked 4 in the first 2 innings. So Hill, the batter. Infield is shaded around to pull. So if Hill tries to hit one to the right side and move the runner, he may get himself a base hit. Hall, first pitch to him, swing and a miss, strike 1. 1 strike to count to Justin Hill. Hall comes set. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Justin Hill. Gillis, the right fielder, waits on deck. Hall comes set. Pickoff play at second. Back in safely is Collins. Pioneers almost picked off a runner last inning. That could have changed the whole complexion of that inning, as they almost got Hill off second base, but he just got in under the tag. That could have potentially led to the Pioneers getting out of that inning, but instead wound up being a 4-run frame for the Lightning. The 0-2 pitch to Hill, low and outside, blocked by Montgomery. More of a scoop than a block, but it's ball and 2 strikes. One and two the count to Justin Hill. Hall with the long look for the sign. The 1-2. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Montgomery will have to throw down to first. A high throw, but Hinton tight ropes the bag and gets the out. Montgomery with a little bit of a high throw there, but Hinton able to grab the ball and tag the bag ahead of Hill for the out. 7 strikeouts now for Charles Hall. And the right fielder Jeff Gillis bats. Gillis walked and scored in the second. Hall ready to work. And the first pitch, showing bunt, taking a strike. 1 strike the count to Jeff Gillis. The set by Hall. And the 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Jeff Gillis. Goldey-Beacom 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors. Tusculum 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error here in the third inning. This will be a 9-inning game, then we'll play 7 in game number 2. And then 2 more tomorrow. The 0-2 pitch. Chopped to third. Ford has it, looks the runner back. Throw across is low. Hinton can't scoop it, and the ball trickles into foul territory. The runner didn't go from second, and now he will move on to third. As Ford did well to look the runner back, and then his throw over to first bounced well short of the bag. Hinton tried to scoop it, but just couldn't make the play, and it's a throwing error on Ford. As it was chopped, Ford again looking the runner back in his throw to first in the dirt, and Hinton didn't know where it went. It trickled into foul territory and gave the runner Collins, who had held up at second base. He had no idea where the ball was either, but he was still able to get over to third base in plenty of time. Second error of the game for the Pioneers. Now runners at the corners with 1 out for the center fielder, Trent Hearn. Hearn struck out looking back in the second. Shows bunt, takes the ball. So 2 errors here for the Pioneers. Tusculum 20 errors in 13 games coming into play today. No doubt an area that Coach Brandon Steele and his staff are hoping that they can tighten up a little bit before they get to conference play. 1-0 pitch, low and in, 2-0. Still no activity in the Tusculum bullpen. Hall is a workhorse, and they'll let him go. But there comes a point where becomes diminishing returns. Hall can give you 110 pitches, but if they're not quality pitches, it doesn't matter. 2-0 the count to Hearn. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 2 balls and a strike the count to Trent Hearn. 2-1. Runner goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second is going to be not in time, as strolling home with the run on the double steal is Collins. The pitch was a strike, and Montgomery's throw down to second did not have a chance to get Gillis as Stiegel came across and collected the throw, but Collins just comes in standing on the double steal, and it's now 5-2. Two and two the count to Hearn. Hall's pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Yep, he is. That is strike three. So 8 strikeouts now for Hall. But he trails at 5-2. And Solis the batter. Solis walked and scored in the second inning. Time is called as home plate umpire Mo Turner calling out Coach Tom Riley. Not sure what that discussion was about. As Andrew Emery making his way down to the bullpen for the Lightning. Solis, the batter, taken for a ball, 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Solis. Want to know the count. Time called. And we'll get ready and do this again. Swing and a miss. Strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Would have won the count to Solis. And there for a strike, 1 and 2. One ball and 2 strikes to count. Hall looking for his 9th strikeout here in the 3rd inning. The 1-2 pitch, chop foul towards the Goldey-Beacom dugout. It's still a ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 the count holds to Ivan Solis. Hall. Time called. And we'll do it again here. Stretch. 1-2 pitch. Chop foul again. Almost the same spot as the last one. Still a ball and 2 strikes to count to Ivan Solis. Mason Maxwell, the second baseman, waits on deck. (5-2) Goldey-Beacom here, top of the 3rd. Now Hall steps off. Hall still looking in. Now finally gets a sign. 1-2 pitch. Chop foul again, almost the exact same spot. So Solis making Hall work and spoiling some good pitches. And the count holds at 1-2 strikes. Gillis the runner at second with 2 outs. Time called. Pace of play really taking a beating here this afternoon as Hall steps off. Good thing we have lights. 1-2 the count. Hall with the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch. Fouled away again. 4 straight foul balls off the bat of Solis. This one off the first base side. One ball and 2 strikes to count still to Ivan Solis. Stretch. Wind really blowing out to left now. Hitting the air to center field. DeHaven tracking this one. And he's got it, and the side is retired. But another run in the inning for the Lightning on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. Middle of the third, it's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 2 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County, you farm tomatoes, then you're in. Just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people. And Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce.
Back here at Pioneer Park, bottom of the third inning. And the Pioneers will be back at the top of the order with the shortstop Jaden Stiegel leading off here against Mitch Guerreri, who's pitching now with a 5-2 lead here in the third inning, as the Lightning have scored 4 in the second, 1 more in the third against Pioneers. Stiegel grounded out to second his first time up. Guerreri was first pitch. Line right field, Gillis charging in, he's got it lined up, and he makes the catch, and Stiegel's out on 1 pitch. Dalton Martin, the second baseman, will bat. Martin singled and scored back in the first. Congratulations go out to the Tusculum men's and women's track and field teams on their performances this weekend at the South Atlantic Conference Indoor Track and Field Championships. The women finished 4th overall. The men were 6th. And Nicole McMillan, the SAC champion in the mile run today, and she finished 2nd in the 3,000 meters as well. First pitch to Martin is taken for a strike. The Tusculum 4x4 also finished second, and Regine Minus was second in the 400 meters today for the Pioneer women. For the Tusculum men, the top individual finisher, Guillaume de Vries, was second in the high jump, as he was the only medalist for Tusculum today. Queens winning both the men's and women's championships. Martin chops that one foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Dalton Martin. Bryson Ford, the third baseman, will bat next. Guerrero, after a shaky start, has retired 6 in a row. 3 straight singles. The other one was a bunt single. The other one was kind of a seeing eye hit to right field as that pitch is high and away, 2-2. Martin probably had the best contact of the 3 hits that Tusculum had in the first inning. A single to left center. 2-2 the count to Martin. He fouls out a one away down the left side toward the Goldey-Beacom bullpen. It winds up on the berm. 2-2 the count remains. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pitch. Hit towards the left field, down the line. Parson giving chase. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Martin takes the turn at first. He's heading to second, and he'll roll in standing with a 1-out double. So Dalton Martin with his 7th 2-base hit of the season, and he's a 1-out base runner for the Pioneers, and he's 2 for 2. Bryson Ford, the third baseman, bats. Ford had a bunt single in the first and scored. So Ford will bat with Martin in scoring position and 1 out here in the third. Stretch by Guerrero. Pitch. High, 1-0. 3:31 down the lines here at Pioneer Park. 400 feet to straightaway center field. One ball, no strikes to count to Ford. The pitch. In there for a strike, 1-1. Collins even with the bag at third. After Ford dropped a bunt down the third baseline his first time up. Unlikely that Ford would be bunting here. Pioneers down 3. But if you got to hit one time, why not try it again? This one's hit to short. Off the glove of the shortstop Hill. He recovers, throw to first in time for the out. As moving over to third base will be Martin. Hill doing well to stick with it as the screen set there by Martin. As he saw the ball go to his left, he picked it up in time and threw across in time to get Ford. So Nate Montgomery will bat with the runner at third and 2 outs. Montgomery with an RBI single to right his first time up. Batting now with 2 outs here in the third, and Tusculum trailing 5-2. First pitch, inside for a ball, 1-0. Next pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Solis. 2 balls and no strikes to Nate Montgomery. Trey Hinton, the first baseman, waits on deck. 2-0 the count to Montgomery. Guerreri as Martin takes his lead off third base. The windup and the 2-0 pitch. Hit towards second. Same spot he put it the last time, into right field for a base hit. So Montgomery does it back-to-back at bats. Just slings one to the right side past Maxwell into right field for the base hit. And Martin scores to make it a 5-3 ball game. Almost a carbon copy of his first hit, as Montgomery now with 2 RBI singles in the game, and the Pioneers have gotten that run back and now trail at 5-3. Trey Hinton, the batter. Hinton grounded to second his first time up, driving in a run. First pitch to him is there for a strike. So 2 RBIs in the game for Nate Montgomery. The 0-1 pitch. Taken for a ball, 1-1. Ball and a strike to count to Trey Hinton. Next pitch is taken for a ball, 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike to Trey Hinton. Two and 1 the count. The pitch fouled at the plate. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes the count to Trey Hinton. Stretch by Guerreri. Pitch. Chopped to first. Off the bag comes Clark. He has it, steps on the bag, and the inning is over. Run in the inning for the Pioneers on 2 hits and 1 left. We've finished 3 innings here in Game 1 of our doubleheader. It's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 3 on the Pioneers Sports Network.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County, you farm tomatoes, then you're in. Just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people. And Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce Farms, and they really care about their customers. We're just glad to be a part of that. God has blessed us with a really great partnership there. They make fresh local produce have real meaning for lots of people. I'm Shane Pierce, and this is my Ingalls story.
Top of the 4th inning here at Pioneer Park. And leading off for the Goldey-Beacom Lightning will be the second baseman, Mason Maxwell. Maxwell struck out his only plate appearance. Charles Hall, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks in 3 innings. He's allowed 3 earned runs, 2 unearned runs. 5 runs overall and 3 hits. 75 pitches in 3 innings for the right-hander. Nobody throwing in the Tusculum bullpen, but there is activity down there. Pitch to Maxwell. He fouls that one to the screen, a ball and a strike. Maxwell, Parson, Abdul. The batters due up for the Lightning here in the fourth. Stretched by Hall, and the 1-1 pitch. Just outside, 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to count to Mason Maxwell. Pitch is on the outside corner, 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Maxwell, the pitch, swing and a miss. He got him. 9 strikeouts for Hall, 1 down here in the fourth. Maurice Parson, the batter. Parson struck out and then walked with the bases loaded and later scored in the second. First pitch from Hall. In the air to left field. McDade taking a few steps to his left. He has it lined up, and he makes the catch. And Parsons out on 1 pitch. 2 down here in the fourth. Two down for the designated hitter, Brandon Abdul. Abdul has 2 singles in the game. His last one in the second inning drove in 2, and then a third run scored on a throwing error. Hall's pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. One strike to count to Abdul. The pitch, inside, 1-1. One and 1 the count to Abdul. Swing and a miss, strike 2. One and 2 the count. Hall delivers. Got him. 2 more strikeouts in the inning for Charles Hall. He has struck out 10 in 4 innings, but he remains on the short end of the scoreboard. It's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 3 after 3.5. Back with more after this on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
Bottom of the fourth inning here at Pioneer Park, and leading off will be Zach Fincham, the designated hitter. Fincham lined out to right his first time up. 5-3, Goldey-Beacom leads here. The first pitch to Fincham is taken for a ball. Guerreri's allowed 3 earned runs on 5 hits. Struck out 1 and walked 0 so far. 47 pitches through 3 innings. Next pitch is eyeing away for a ball, 2-0. 2-0 the count, the pitch. High, 3-0. Three-0 pitch, taking ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk for Zach Fincham leading off the bottom of the fourth inning. So McDade will bat. McDade flying out to right his first time up. First pitch to him is lined into shallow center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Playing it on a couple of hops is center fielder Hearn. On at second base now is Fincham as McDade has the single. 6th hit of the game for the Pioneers, and they've got their first 2 men on base with nobody out here in the fourth. Sam Urban will bat, the right fielder, struck out his first time up. Could be a bunting situation. So Urban will step in. First baseman Clark on the grass. Third baseman Collins is back. Showing bunt, now pulls back and takes a ball. One ball and no strikes to count to Sam Urban. Stretch by Guerreri. Urban showing bunt again. This time he does bunt and fouls it away towards the Lightning bench, and it goes into the dugout on one hop. Ball and a strike to count to Sam Urban. One and one the count to Urban. DeHaven waits on deck. Urban not showing bunt this inning. Now he does square around. And he fouls it at the plate, 1-2. So likely he'll be swinging away, but he's down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 the count to Sam Urban. Guerreri looking in for the sign from the catcher Solis. And his 1-2 pitch fouled away. Still 1-2. One and two, the count holds to Sam Urban. Fincham, the runner at second. McDade on at first. Now time is called at the plate. Guerreri peers in for the sign, and now he steps off again as Urban steps out. So we'll go again with a 1-2 pitch. The runners take their lead. Pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. So Urban unable to get the bunt down and then goes down on strikes. One down here in the fourth. Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, will bat. DeHaven lined out to third. A nice catch by Collins back in the second inning. So DeHaven batting with 2 on and now 1 out. Now they'll try and play for a double play, but DeHaven with very good speed, unlikely that they would be able to double him up. Unless it's a hard hit ball right at somebody. He does bunt. Down the third base line, it's a good one. Guerreri's off the mound. He's going to have to hurry. His throw is scooped at first base by Clark in time for the out. Nice play there by the first baseman, Clark, as DeHaven got the bunt down. It was a good one, but Guerreri fields his position well on that play and is able to make the play for the second out. McDade goes to second, Fincham on to third. That was a one-hop throw, and Clark picked it at first base as DeHaven was charging down the line. So 2 outs now in the fourth inning. The runners at second and third for the leadoff batter, Jaden Stiegel. Stiegel's 0 for 2. He's grounded to second and fly to right. Big spot in this game is a hit would tie it, but Stiegel looking for his first hit of the game. The first pitch to him is in there for a strike. 1 strike the count to Jaden Stiegel. Guerreri will work from the windup. His time is called. An exchange of baseballs. One strike the count to Stiegel. Pitch is high to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count to Stiegel. One pitch is outside, 2-1. Two and one the count to Stiegel. Guerreri now will step off as time is called. Shadows starting to creep across the first baseline. Just nice to have shadows. 2-1 the count. The pitch outside, 3-1. Dalton Martin waiting on deck. Martin with 3 home runs this season, including a grand slam. 3-1 the count to Jaden Stiegel. The pitch on the outside corner for a strike. It's a full count. Fincham at third, McDade at second with 2 outs here in the fourth. 5-3, Goldey-Beacom with the lead. Wind up and the payoff pitch. Fouled away, right side. Still a full count to Stiegel. Stiegel taking a moment before he gets into the batter's box. Now he'll dig in with a 3-ball and 2-strike count. Guerreri working from the wind, the 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3, struck him out, and Guerreri pumps the fist several times as he walks off the mound as he painted that one in there for a called strike 3. Good job of pitching there by Guerreri. He got out of a first and second nobody out jam and then a second and third 2-out jam. And gets his 3rd strikeout of the game, 2nd of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left. End of 4. It's Tusculum trailing Goldey-Beacom 5-3 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
First date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients.
Top of the fifth inning here at Pioneer Park. It'll be Calvin Clark, the first baseman, leading off for Goldey-Beacom against Charles Hall, who has struck out 10 in 4 innings. Thrown 85 pitches, allowed 5 runs, 3 earned. Clark checks his swing, hits it to second. Martin, and the tag applied by Hinton in time for the out. So Clark is out on 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th. Now batting is the third baseman, Cole Collins. Collins has struck out, doubled, and scored on a double steal. That happened back in the 3rd inning. Swings and misses at the first pitch from Hall. One strike to count. And strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. To wind up the 0-2 pitch. Low, 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to count to Cole Collins. Hall's pitch. Chest high, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Collins with 1 out here in the 5th. Stretch by Hall. 2-2 pitch. Outside, full count. Three and 2 the count to Collins. Hall with the payoff pitch. Fouled away, still full count. Three balls and 2 strikes. Count to Collins. Three-two pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. 5th walk allowed by Hall. And Collins is a 1-out base runner. For the shortstop, Justin Hill. Hill walked and scored in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd. So Collins a runner at first base. The pitch. Line down the left field line. If it's fair, it's trouble, and it is a fair ball. Heading toward the corner. McDade plays it off the wall. Coming to third is Collins. He gets the stop sign as McDade gets it back in quickly. But it's a double for Hill. And the Lightning have runners at second and third, 1 out. Hill's first extra base hit of the season. So now 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out for Goldey-Beacom. That is their 4th hit of the game. The right fielder, Jeff Gillis, is the batter. Gillis walked and scored in the 2nd, reached on a throwing error, and stole a base in the 3rd. Infield in at the corners, back in the middle. Hall stretched the first pitch in the dirt, blocked by Montgomery. 1 ball and no strikes. Hall now at 94 pitches. That was his 95th pitch here in the 5th inning. There is bullpen activity for the Pioneers for the first time today. Next pitch is in there for a strike. Looks like Andrew Willis, the left-hander, throwing down there. So second and third, one out. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Gillis. Wonder if a squeeze bunt might be in the repertoire here for the Lightnings. Be a spot for it. Instead, he takes low and away, 2-1. Hearn, who has struck out twice, waits on deck. Stretch by Hall. 2-1 pitch. Right there on the outside corner, strike 2. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count to Jeff Gillis. Stretch, 2-2 from Hall. Swing and a miss, got him. 11 strikeouts for Hall, 2 outs here in the 5th inning. 2 of those strikeouts were at the expense of the center fielder Trent Hearn, who now steps in. So Hall trying to get the end man here, keep it a 2-run game. Hall's next pitch will be his 100th of the afternoon. Stretch by Hall. First pitch. Outside. Ball, no strikes. One ball and no strikes to count to Trent Hearn. Pitch. And there for strike 1-1. One ball and 1 strike the count to Hearn. Hearn will dig in as Hall waits for the sign from Montgomery. Stretch. And the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Hall with 11 strikeouts here with 2 outs in the 5th inning. 2 fly balls and a ground ball, the other 3 outs. Stretch by Hall. 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, blocked by Montgomery, 2-2. Two and two to Trent Hearn. Hall. Set. Look back. And the pitch. Outside and high, 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. To Trent Hearn. The stretch. Full count pitch. Low and in, ball 4. Another walk by Hall. He has now walked 6, and he struck out 11. Just 8 of the first 25 batters. 8 out of the first 25 batters have put the ball in play. 17 of them either struck out or walked. So this is the catcher Solis batting with the bases loaded. He has walked and scored and flied out. Hall's pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Hall has walked 6. 4 of them have scored. The other 2 are on base right now. Hall wants Montgomery to go through the signs again. Stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled at the plate, 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Nothing in 2 the count. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 5th. The pitch, outside 1-2. It's maybe Hall's last batter. Maxwell, left-handed batter, waits on deck. The lefty Willis has been warming up. 1-2 the count to Solis. Pitch. Hit towards second. Martin to his left. He's got it. Knocks it down. Throws in time for the out. So Hall gets out of trouble here in the 5th. No runs, a hit, 2 walks, and 3 left on base. Middle of the 5th, halfway home in Game 1. It's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 3 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time.
Wow, it's funny running into you.
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Bottom of the 5th inning here at Pioneer Park, and Dalton Martin, the second baseman, will lead off. Martin has singled and doubled and scored 2 runs. Facing the starting pitcher, still out there for both teams. Guerrero has allowed 3 runs on 6 hits through 4 innings, 3 strikeouts and a walk. One strike the count to Dalton Martin. Line down the right field line. If it's fair, it's trouble. It is a fair ball. Martin heading to second as Gillis has trouble picking it up on the warning track, but Martin will back it down as he goes into second base with his second double of the game. He's now 3 for 3, and he's the leadoff base runner here in the bottom of the fifth inning. That'll bring up Bryson Ford, the third baseman. Ford singled on a bunt and scored, and also grounded out to short. So the Pioneers with their leadoff man here on in the fifth inning. Second straight inning they've gotten their leadoff man on base. Drury's pitch is fouled away. One strike to Bryson Ford. Stretch and the pitch. High, ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Bryson Ford. Take a look around the South Atlantic Conference today and see what's happening in baseball action. Pitch is in the dirt. It's knocked down, and moving up to third base is Martin. So Martin takes third on the wild pitch. He is 90 feet away with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Bryson Ford. Carson Newman beat Davis and Elkins 15-4 today in game 1 of their doubleheader. Davis and Elkins leads 1-0 in the first in game 2. Pitch is outside, 3-1. Coker leads Mars Hill 7-3 in the sixth. Later today, it's Wingate against Catawba and Lincoln Memorial against Anderson. Those are all conference series. Three and 1 the count. The pitch is there for a strike, 3-2. Newberry and Lenore Rhine were able to get their conference series in this weekend, and Newberry won all 3 games. Three and 2 the count to Ford. Pitch fouled away, still full count. Three balls, 2 strikes, the count to Bryson Ford, with Montgomery waiting on deck. Pitch, high and in, ball 4. Ford draws a walk, and the Pioneers have runners at the corners with nobody out. Last inning, they had runners at first and second, nobody out, but were unable to score. Montgomery has 2 singles to right, 2 runs batted in. Time is called as head coach Tom Riley makes his way to the mound. He's going to have a discussion with his starter, Guerreri. Riley, a former assistant coach at Delaware State before getting the program rolling at Goldey-Beacom. And this huddle will break up. And it'll be Montgomery to bat with 2 on and nobody out. So, Montgomery steps in the batter's box. 5-3 Goldey-Beacom here in the fifth. They'll try and turn two in the middle if they can. The pitch outside corner, strike one. One strike to count to Nate Montgomery. The wind is whipping around again. The flag as hard as it's been blowing all day. It's off Montgomery's elbow, and he'll take first base. So Montgomery is hit by a pitch, and all of a sudden the Pioneers have the bases loaded, nobody out. Fifth time this year Montgomery has been plunked. And now Trey Hinton will bat with the bases loaded. Hinton's grounded out twice, both to the right side. He knocked in a run with his first ground out back in the first inning. So a big spot here for the Pioneers, down 5-3, but they have the bases loaded, nobody out. Guerreri in a jam. Time called. Now Hinton ready to bat. First pitch, low and outside for a ball, 1-0. The stretch, or the wind, and the 1-0 pitch, 2-0. Two balls and no strikes to count to Trey Hinton. Wind up, 2-0 pitch. Inside, 3-0. Now Hinton ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Nowhere to put him. Guerreri. The wind-up 3-0 pitch. There for a strike, 3-1. Martin at third, he doubled. Ford at second, he walked. And Montgomery at first, he was hit by a pitch. Nobody out here, bottom of the fifth. Wind-up 3-1 pitch. Inside, low, ball 4. And the walk forces in the run. Martin will cross the plate. Hinton with the RBI is second of the game. And it's 5-4. Still nobody out. And here comes Tom Riley, and he's got the call to the bullpen. So this will do it for Guerreri as he goes 4+ innings. He is responsible for all 3 runners on base. Pitching change here at Pioneer Park. It's Tusculum trailing Goldey-Beacom 5-4, but they had the bases loaded on the Pioneer Sports Network.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County and you farm tomatoes, then you're in. It's just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people. And Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce Farms, and they really care about their customers. We're just glad to be a part of that. God has blessed us with a really great partnership there. They make fresh local produce have real meaning for lots of people. I'm Shane Pierce, and this is my Ingalls story.
New pitcher for Goldey-Beacom is right-hander Jake Heskett. Heskett is 6'4" sophomore out of Durwood, Maryland. Last season, 0-4 record, a 6.04 ERA. Last year in 25 and a third innings, 23 strikeouts, 16 walks. This season, he has pitched in one game. In a 5-4 loss to Limestone, he allowed a run on 4 hits in 1 inning of work. So Heskett trying to get out of this jam here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tusculum trailing 5-4. So Zach Fincham will bat with the bases loaded. He's lined out to right and walked. So step in here against the new pitcher, Heskett. His first pitch is in there for a strike. One strike the count to Zach Fincham. Next pitch is taken for a strike. And it's 0-2. Nothing in 2 the count, the pitch. Flare to right, but it's going to be shallow enough and bobbled and caught by the second baseman, Maxwell. I guess it was considered an infield fly. As off the bat, it looked like it had a little more gusto behind it than it wound up having. But in any case, Fincham is out on the pop-up. One down here in the 5th. McDade will bat. McDade is flied out and singled. 1 for 2. Stretch by Heskett. And the pitch. Low, 1 ball and no strikes. One ball and no strikes to count to Jake Heskett. Or Heskett pitching to Jarrell McDade. Pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ball and a strike to count to McDade. Stretch by Heskett. The 1-1. Popped up again. This one is behind first. The first baseman, Clark, trying to track it down. He makes the catch, goes to his knees and to the ground. That's an infield fly anyway, and it is the second out of the inning. Boy, that one had that was the first one we've had today that's been all kinds of trouble. And Clark did well to stick with it. Again, an infield fly situation, so no harm done, even though he did make the catch. Now, Heskett can see his way out of trouble as Sam Urban will bat. Urban has struck out twice. He gets some pointers from third base coach Todd Miller. Batting with the bases loaded, now 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Inning started with a Martin double and then a walk to Ford. Montgomery hit by a pitch. Hinton walked with the bases loaded, which is the end of the day for Guerreri, and brought in Heskett, who's gotten 2 pop-ups. And now he'll try and get Urban to preserve the lead. Stretch in the pitch. Right there for a strike. One strike to count to Sam Urban. Stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. One ball and one strike. Heskett's pitch. Goes around. Strike two. Two balls, two strikes. Or one ball and two strikes to count. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. The stretch. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. What a job by Jake Heskett, who came in with the bases loaded, nobody out, and gets out of it with no further damage. A run in the inning for the Pioneers, a hit, and 3 left. We're through 5. It's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 4 on the Pioneers Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
New pitcher for the Pioneers as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It's a left-hander, Andrew Willis. Willis taking the mound for the Pioneers in relief of Charles Hall. Willis is 6'2", 175-pound senior out of Knoxville. Willis this season making his 6th appearance. He's 0-2 with an 8.22 earned run average. He has 1 save. 7 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs, all earned. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .300 against Andrew Willis. He'll face Mason Maxwell leading off the top of the 6th inning for Goldey-Beacom. Maxwell struck out twice against Charles Hall, whose line is complete. Hall went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned. Walked 6, struck out 11, and threw 109 pitches, 68 strikes, 41 balls. Line is also closed on Guerreri, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 81 pitches. And snowballs and 2 strikes to count to Maxwell. So Hall's still on the hook for the loss, possibly, for the Pioneers. Guerreri is ineligible for the win since he failed to work 5 innings. Willis with the 0-2 pitch. Fouled away. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Goldey-Beacom got 4 runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd after Tusculum scored 2 in the 1st. Pioneers got 1 more in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, and that's where we stand 5-4 here in the 6th. As down on strikes is Maxwell for the first out. Maurice Parson will bat. Parson is struck out, walked and scored, and flied out. Pitches in there for a strike to Parson. Willis. The line, the 0-1 pitch. Cued foul. It's 0-2. One more to come after this game. Start about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Is down on strikes is Parson. 2 strikeouts for Willis. 13 strikeouts for Tusculum pitching today. 2 down here in the 6th. The designated hitter, Brandon Abdul, will bat. Abdul has singled twice, one of them knocking in 2 runs, and he has also struck out. Solis, the 8-hitter, the only batter in the lineup who hasn't struck out today, as this one's popped to second, and Martin makes the catch, and it's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Willis. Middle of the 6th, it's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 4 on the Pioneer Sports Network. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Pioneer Park with Goldey-Beacom leading Tusculum 5-4. Game in the hands of both bullpens as Jake Heskett, who got out of a bases-loaded nobody-out jam in the 5th, will start this 6th inning by facing Seth DeHaven, the Pioneer center fielder. DeHaven is lined to third and sacrificed. Goldey-Beacom will play their first home game of the season on Saturday, this coming Saturday, against New Haven. It'll be a noon start. There's 2 home doubleheaders in the month of March. Also have a series with Division I Delaware coming up in mid-March, and also Westchester, another local Division II rival. They'll begin their conference schedule on March the 20th against Jefferson University, which is the old Philadelphia University. Now, Solis and Heskett will talk this one over. "32 conference games for the Lightning, and then they'll play the conference tournament the first weekend. They'll start it the first weekend in May and finish it the following weekend, I think. Dates, not days, so just trying to eyeball what the days of the week are. In any case, it'll be early May that they'll play their conference tournament. Of course, the South Atlantic Conference tournament's early. It's April 25th to 29th at Smoky Stadium over in Kodak. Ball and a strike, the count to Seth DeHaven. Heskett's pitch. Hit to left field. Hit well. And it's going deep, and it is on the warning track on one hop. DeHaven with good speed turns second. He's heading to third, and he'll get in there with a triple. Seth DeHaven with the triple. Trying to pump up his teammates as he is on third with nobody out here in the 6th. That ball just got up. That was the first ball that was hit today that's gotten up in the wind. Off the bat, it didn't look like it was that hard hit, but it got up there and then it just took off and landed on the warning track on one hop. So DeHaven at third with nobody out, representing the tying run. Jaden Stiegel will bat. Stiegel's grounded out, flied out, and struck out. 0 for 3. Second triple of the season for DeHaven, both of them the only 2 triples of the year for the Pioneers. First pitch is low and in for a ball, 1-0. One ball and no strikes, the count to Jaden Stiegel. Stretched by Heskett in the pitch. Hit towards third, foul. The ball and a strike to Jaden Stiegel. Tusculum will be on the road next weekend at Wingate for a 3-game series to start their conference schedule. They won't play their conference home opener until March 15th against Queens, first-year program, coached by former Major League pitcher Jack McDowell. Showing a squeeze, and the bunt is down. The flip to the plate is going to be late, and in there safely is DeHaven, and the Pioneers have tied it here in the 6th on the bunt by Jaden Stiegel. Almost like a safety squeeze where DeHaven didn't break immediately. The pitch was bunted towards the pitcher, and DeHaven getting the start down the line, and he gets in there safely. So that's probably be a fielder's choice and an RBI for Stiegel on the sacrifice. As that was probably the only play that Heskett was going to have. So the safety squeeze results in a run for the Pioneers. We're tied at 5. That'll take Hall off the hook. Stiegel on at first. Martin batting, cues one foul towards third. One strike to count to Dalton Martin, who's been perfect today. Single, double, double, and 3 runs scored. Martin has now crossed the plate 14 times in 14 games. On at first, Stiegel is 2 for 3 in stolen base attempts this season. Pioneers do like to run. Pitch. Hit foul. It was kind of got in his kitchen a little bit, and Martin just fouled it back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes. Tusculum stolen 24 bases in 13 games. They've been caught 10 times. When you only have 3 home runs in your first 13 plus games, you better find a way to get runners around, and they've looked to the stolen base. Stretched by Heskett. Throw over to first. Back safely is Stiegel. Official scoring was the same as I expected it was on the Stiegel ball. It says sacrifice fielder's choice, RBI for Stiegel. His 9th of the season. Martin batting with an 0-2 count. Heskett's pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. No, he fouled it. He fouled it. And Martin walked away like he thought that pitch was, he didn't foul. And of course, you're a batter. You know if you've hit it. And Martin almost looked like he was ready to walk away thinking he did not make contact. But home plate umpire Mo Turner ruled that it was a foul tip. No argument from the catcher, so he must have just gotten just a tiny piece of it. Still 0-2, the count to Martin. Stiegel with a short lead at first. And the pitch, up and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Dalton Martin. 5 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for Tusculum. 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Goldey-Beacom. Heskett ready to work. 1-2 the count, the pitch. In the dirt, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dalton Martin with nobody out here in the 6th. Heskett looks over at the runner, Stiegel. and throws over there, and back in safely is Stiegel. Martin down the count, or is even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stretch by Heskett. The 2-2. Inside corner, called strike 3. Martin just turns and walks away as Heskett gets his second strikeout. One down here in the 6th. The third baseman, Bryson Ford, will bat. Ford has singled on a bunt and scored, grounded out, and walked. Officially 1 for 2. The shadows now across the pitcher's mound. First pitch coming from Heskett to Ford. Ball. That shadow that's covering most of the infield there is from the canopy above the seating area down the first and third base lines. In this case, the first base line. And then the gap there with the sun coming in is the area where the concourse area, the light coming in through there. Pitch is taken for a strike, throw down at first, and Siegel back in on a dive. So as the sun continues to set to the west, it'll start to become a sun field for the left fielder. Sunset this evening, according to the weather folks, is 6:20, which is just a little under 2 hours from now. Of course, we do have light, so that's not an issue. Runner is going. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second is in time. Solis throwing out Stiegel at second base. It goes Solis to Maxwell, 2-4 for the second out. Stiegel caught stealing for the second time this year. 2 balls and a strike to count to Bryson Ford. The replay is nailed on the throw for the second out. Swing and a miss, strike 2 to Ford. Back at live action. 2-2 the count to Bryson Ford. Pioneers have tied it here in the 6th. Heskett still working from the stretch, and the pitch popped up off third. Collins gives chase. He has room as the ball comes back, and it came back too far, and he's unable to get there. That ball was going to be going out of play, and you could just see it start dying as it got toward the wall. And as it died, it started drifting back, and Collins just couldn't get there. So that was a tough play. So 2-2 the count holds to Bryson Ford. Stretch. And the 2-2 pitch to Ford. Outside, full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on base. Pioneers do have a run in the inning. Stretch by Heskett. And the payoff pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Ford took a step to first, thought he didn't think he was ball 4, but it's strike 3. It's the third strikeout for Heskett in his 2 innings. Tusculum gets a run in the inning on a hit, nobody left. 6 complete, we go to the 7th. It's Goldey-Beacom and Tusculum all tied 5 apiece on the Pioneers Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, This might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time.
Wow, it's funny running into you.
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Top of the seventh inning here at Pioneer Park, tied at 5. Tusculum 5 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. Goldey-Beacom 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Tusculum with 2 runs in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. Goldey-Beacom 4 runs in the second, 1 in the third. Tusculum has chipped away to a 5-2 deficit to bring it to a 5-5 tie. Andrew Willis out there for his second inning of work. He threw a 1-2-3-6. He'll face the heart of the order for the Lightning. Calvin Clark, the first baseman, will lead off. Clark has struck out twice and grounded to second. First pitch by Willis is inside for a ball. Nobody throwing at the moment in the Tusculum bullpen, but there are pitchers down there windmilling their arms around, which usually is a pretty good sign that they're going to be coming in soon, or at least start getting ready as that pitch is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Calvin Clark. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Clark, Collins, Hill due up for the Lightning here in the 7th. Willis ready with the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3, struck him out. Third strikeout for Willis. 1 down here in the 7th. So 11 strikeouts for Hall, now 3 for Willis. 14 strikeouts for Tusculum pitching here in game 1. Cole Collins, the third baseman, offers and misses at the first pitch from Willis. He's struck out, doubled and scored and walked. Willis with the wind and the pitch, high, 1-1. Seven-inning game will follow. And then 2 more tomorrow. Lined is right center field. DeHaven on the run. He'll play it on the hop. As a base hit for Cole Collins, his second hit of the game. He's now 2 for 3, and he's a 1-out base runner. Justin Hill, the shortstop, will bat. Hill has walked and scored, struck out, and doubled. The Southland Conference scoreboard, Carson Newman leads Davis and Elkins 4-3 in the third inning of game 2 of their doubleheader. Coker leads Mars Hill 9-3 in the top of the 9th in the first of their 3-game series. And a pickoff throw by Willis gets away from the first baseman hit and goes down the right field line. Digging around second is Collins. He's on his way to third. The throw from Urban is going to be late. And in there at third base is Collins on the throwing error. So just like that, the Lightning have a runner at third base with 1 out. So now Hill batting with the go-ahead run at third base. Infield comes all the way in for the Pioneers. Willis's pitch popped up in the infield. It's not going to get a run home. It could be trouble, though, as Ford fighting it, and he makes the catch on the edge of the outfield grass. Good job there by Bryson Ford to stick with that pop-up in these conditions for the second out, and Collins has to hold on at third. So with 2 outs, it's the right fielder Jeff Gillis. Gillis has walked and scored, reached on an error, stolen base, and struck out. Now the Pioneer defense can return to normal depth as Willis can try and see his way out of this 7th inning. Stretching the pitch, high, 1 ball and no strikes. Elsewhere in the conference today, Wingate and Catawba will start at 5 o'clock. LMU and Anderson will play at 6 o'clock this evening. They start their conference series. Stretch by Willis in the pitch. Inside, corner, strike one. Ball and a strike, the count to Jeff Gillis. Willis's pitch is a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and 1 the count to Gillis. The stretch. And Willis to Gillis. High, 3 and 1. 3 balls and a strike, the count to Gillis. Hearn, the center fielder, a left-handed batter, who struck out twice, waits on deck. Willis 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Jeff Gillis. Stretch, 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. Andrew Willis gets his 4th strikeout of the game in 2 innings of relief, and he strands a runner at third base. No runs ahead, an error, and 1 left. Stretch time here at Pioneer Park. It's Goldey-Beacom 5, Tusculum 5 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
Middle of the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th inning now at Pioneer Park. Still on the mound for the Lightning is Jake Heskett, beginning his 2nd full inning of work, 3rd inning overall. He's allowed a run and struck out 3 so far. He'll face Nate Montgomery, the cleanup hitter for the Pioneers, who's reached safely all 3 times on 2 singles and a hit batsman. He's knocked in 2 runs. Jim Miller with you this afternoon here at Pioneer Park. Our producers today are Nick Forsberg and Sonia Baumeier. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Game 1 of our doubleheader. Game 2 will be coming up 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. That'll be a 7-inning game, and then these teams back at it tomorrow here for another doubleheader, a 9 and a 7. As it looks like they'll be able to get this 4-game series in. We definitely had the high water. A lot of rain the last few days around here, but this field tarps and it drains well, so here we are playing this afternoon. Nate Montgomery standing in here at the plate for the Pioneers. Stretched by Heskett. The pitch. On the outside corner, it's a strike. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stretch. And the 1-2 pitch. Hit to short. Hill has it. Pumps, throws. Picked by Clark. One down here in the 7th. Trey Hinton at the plate. Hinton's knocked in a couple of runs. On a ground out and a walk. A walk with the bases loaded in the 5th. Chased the starter Guerreri from the game. He's also grounded out. He's 0 for 2, but with 2 RBIs. So after tomorrow's doubleheader, Tusculum will be right back at it on Tuesday here against King for a 5 o'clock start. Pitches on the inside corner. Strike 1 to Trey Hinton. One game that's been added to the schedule is Alabama-Huntsville on Wednesday, March 13th. They'll start at 2 o'clock. Pitch. Inside, 1-1. Stretch by Heskett. 1-1 pitch. Inside corner, strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes the count to Trey Hinton. Line of the 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2. I shouldn't expect anything, but based on the rotation from last weekend, might see Zach Sanders get the starting game 2 for the Pioneers. Sanders threw a gem against Notre Dame last week. Took a 1-hit shutout into the 7th and final inning. 2-2 pitch. Chopped to second. Maxwell charging. He scoops it, bobbles it, throws, and got him. Got him by a half step. But that's 2 down here in the 7th. And the designated hitter, Zach Fincham, will step up. Fincham has lined to right, walked, and popped up. 0 for 2 officially. So Fincham will try and ignite a 2-out rally here for the Pioneers. This 5-5 tie. First pitch to him. Upstairs for a ball, 1-0. One ball and no strikes, the count to Zach Fincham. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ball to strike, the count to Fincham. 1-1 pitch, inside, 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike. Heskett with the 2-1 pitch. High, 3-1. Jarrell McDade waiting on deck. Three and 1 the count. Stretch. And 3-1 pitch. Popped up out of play over the backstop and back down onto the field. The ball landed in the netting above the seating area behind home plate and trickled back down onto the warning track behind home plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Fincham here in the 7th. The stretch. And a 3-2 pitch from Heskett. Hit back up the middle. Maxwell to his right. He's got it. His throw from his back leg is in time as Clark picks another one at first base. A nice job over there by the first baseman, Calvin Clark. He's made some nice plays on some low throws. 1-2-3 inning on 3 groundouts for Heskett. We go to the 8th. Tied at 5, Goldey-Beacom and Tusculum on the Pioneers Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time.
Wow, funny running into you.
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Top of the 8th inning, still tied at 5 here between Tusculum and Goldey-Beacom. As the bottom third of the lineup for the Lightning due up. This will be a pinch hitter for the center fielder, Trent Hearn. This will be Marquise Wood, a freshman outfielder from Philadelphia, 5'10", 170 pounds. Wood is 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored in his first 2 collegiate games. Showing bunt, offers at it, takes a strike. Next pitch is right there for a strike, 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Wood, leading off the 8th inning as a pinch hitter. Pitch is high, 2-2. Popped up. Third base side, Ford doesn't see it, and now he does and makes the catch. He was right on the edge there where it was in the sun or in the shade, but then he saw it and stuck with it and made the catch for the out. Ivan Solis, the batter, he's walked and scored, flied out and grounded out. Foul back to the backstop, 1 strike to Solis. Willis's next pitch is taken for a ball, 1-1. Fouled away, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cued foul as he tried to check his swing. One ball and 2 strikes to count to Solis. Pitch high, 2-2. Windup and the 2-2 pitch. Popped up foul out of play. Still 2-2 the count to Ivan Solis. Swing and a miss. He got him. Another strikeout for Willis, his 5th in 2 2/3 innings. After the plate comes Mason Maxwell, the second baseman. He has struck out all 3 times he's batted. Last time against Willis. Showing bunt, offers at it, strike 1. Line by Willis, the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes, the count to Maxwell. Willis's pitch outside, 1-2. 1-2 pitch, outside, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Willis's pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Maxwell down for the 4th time. Willis 6 strikeouts in 3 innings of relief. Another 1-2-3 inning for Willis. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tied at 5. Goldey-Beacom and Tusculum on the Pioneer Sports Network.
We are in Granger County, Tennessee, here at Pierce Farms, and the Pierce family has been working with Ingalls for over 30 years. It means a great deal supplying produce as a local farmer. It really touches base knowing that we're just simple people just trying to help, and we love what we do, and Ingalls is a huge part of helping us do it. Farming is who we are, and it's in our blood. God has really blessed us with the sun and the soil to grow the best tomatoes you'll find anywhere. I believe it's really in the soil. So if you're in Granger County and you farm tomatoes, then you're in. Just a great blessing on us to actually farm and be able to farm and to supply tomatoes to people. And Ingalls really cares about family farms like Pierce Farms, and they really care about their customers. We're just glad to be a part of that. God has blessed us with a really great partnership there. They make fresh local produce have real meaning for lots of people. I'm Shane Pierce, and this is my Ingalls story.
Bottom of the 8th inning here at Pioneer Park as we're tied at 5. Tusculum, the bottom third of their order. McDade, Urban, and DeHaven, the scheduled batters. Against Heskett, who's now in his 4th inning of relief. Marquise Wood stayed in the game in right field with Jeff Gillis shifting over to center. McDade is flied out, singled, and popped up. First pitch to him. High for a ball. A ball, no strikes to count to Jarrell McDade. We are tied at 5. We've been this way since the 6th inning. Heskett's pitch. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Jarrell McDade. And McDade, 11 home runs last season, looking for his first one of the season. See if we can do a reverse jinx here. That wind continues to blow hard out to left field. Stretch, the 1-1 pitch. Hit to third, off the foot of the third baseman Collins. It ricochets to the shortstop Hill. He will not have a play. It was hit hard, but that'll be an error on the third baseman. McDade hit it with some clip, but again, just caroming off the third baseman's foot towards shortstop, and McDade is safe on the error. First error of the game for the Lightning. Tusculum has 3 errors in the game. So Urban, who tried to bunt earlier and was unsuccessful, gets another chance here with McDade on at first base. Now he pulls the bat back. Now he shows bunt again. Third baseman charges. He gets the bunt down foul. 1 strike. McDade is 3 for 4 in stolen base attempts this season. He has struck out all 3 times he's batted. So McDade, the go-ahead run at third base here in the 8th. Stretch. Showing bunt again. Charging hard is Collins, and he bunts it foul again. No balls and 2 strikes. So Urban has been unable to put the bunt down twice, 4 times in all. So he'll swing away with no balls and 2 strikes. On that one, Collins was practically in his lap. He was about 3/4 of the way down the line at third. So Urban will swing here with the 0-2 count, likely. McDade with a decent-sized lead at first. Showing bunt again. Now the pitch. He pulls the bat back. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count to Urban. So the Pioneers committed to the bunt in this situation as Urban was showing bunt with 2 strikes. Now a ball and 2 strikes to Sam Urban. McDade, his lead off first, shows bunt. Collins charges, and he takes the ball. His stolen base is successful as McDade takes second base on the throw down as Hill had to lunge to get the ball. McDade with his stolen base, his 4th of the year. And that's as good as a bunt as now McDade is in scoring position. And now Urban swing away with a 2-2 count. Seth DeHaven, the center fielder, waits on deck. Now Urban will try and pull one here with 2 strikes to try and get McDade over to third base. Time is called as just before Heskett delivers. No pitch. Still 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count to Sam Urban. Heskett sets. Pickoff play at second, and McDade back in ahead of the tag by the shortstop Hill. Two and two, the count remains to Sam Urban. Stretch. And the 2-2 pitch. Holds up, full count. 3-2 the count to Urban. McDade, the runner at second base, here in the 8th. Heskett stretches. 3-2 pitch. High, ball 4. So Urban, who failed to get the bunt down, ball works out in the end as he draws the walk, and now the Pioneers with runners at first and second, nobody out for Seth DeHaven. DeHaven has already had a successful sacrifice bunt in this game. That came back in the 4th inning. He's also lined out and tripled in the 6th and came in on a bunt by Stiegel, which tied the game at 5, which is where we still stand. So almost expecting that DeHaven will be bunting here. And out to talk about it is going to be head coach Tom Riley. So he'll gather his infielders together to discuss the situation. The first and second, nobody out in this 5-5 ball game. Congratulations to the Tusculum men's and women's tennis teams who went to Young Harris today and came away with a pair of victories. The men win 4-3. While the women were 7-0 victors over the Mountain Lions of Young Harris. So Riley has finished his discussion. He'll head back to his dugout. See what DeHaven does here. Whether Coach Brandon Steele will put a bunt play on or not. So, ready to work is Heskett. Dade at second, Urban at first. Infield is looking bunt. Clark, the first baseman, will charge. Collins staying back. See what kind of defensive coverage they'll have. See if Hill will try and slide around McDade and then try and cover third. Hill is shading in behind McDade. Clark, the first baseman, charging all the way in. DeHaven shows bunt, pops it up foul. 1 strike. Popped it up to the backstop. No play there. 1 strike, the count to Seth DeHaven. So in that play, they had Collins, the third baseman, staying back. Clark, the first baseman, charged hard, with the second baseman Maxwell covering first and Hill holding his ground at second. See if they change it up here any on this pitch. Clark is charging in again from first. Hill backs off at short. The pitch, bunt, down the third base line. Looking at third was the pitcher Heskett, but his throw on to Maxwell covering first is in time for the out. So DeHaven gets the job done, moves the runners up 1-4 on the sacrifice. And there's one down here in the 8th as Jaden Stiegel, the shortstop, will bat. Stiegel 0 for 3. He's grounded out, flied out, struck out, and he's been safe on a sacrifice fielder's choice in which DeHaven scored to tie the game on a safety squeeze bunt back in the 6th. Now batting with runners at second and third, 1 out here in the 8th of this 5-5 tie. Infield all the way in. Outfielders shading in as well. As McDade represents the go-ahead run here in the 8th inning. Stiegel waiting for the first pitch from Heskett. Breaking ball, strike 1. Dalton Martin waits on deck. I would just hazarding a guess. It wouldn't surprise me if Stiegel gets out here that they would walk Martin and pitch to Ford. Martin, the Pioneers' best hitter, clearly. He's 3 for 4 today. Nothing and 1 the count to Stiegel. The pitch. Chop to third. Collins has it, not running as the third base runner McDade, as on to first is the throw by Collins in time to get Stiegel for the second out. So that worked out just as Goldey-Beacom wanted it to. A slow roller to third. Collins made the play and McDade had to hold at third base. So now we'll see what they do with Martin, and there's the intentional walk. As I expected, Martin draws the intentional walk. So it'll be Bryson Ford batting now with the bases loaded. Ford has singled on a bunt and scored, grounded out, walked, and struck out. Batting with the bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 8th. He struck out against Heskett back in the 6th inning. The stretch. The first pitch to Ford. In the dirt, good block by Solis. 1 ball and no strikes. Tusculum with bullpen activity. Pioneers can take the lead here. Close it out in the 9th. Goldey-Beacom at the top of the order, due up in the 9th. Heskett, 1-0 pitch. Right there for a strike, 1-1. Ball and a strike to count to Bryson Ford, who is 1 for 3 officially. Stretched by Heskett. And the 1-1 pitch. In the dirt, blocked by Solis. McDade took a couple steps down the line, but wisely backed off as the ball did not get far enough away from Solis. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Bryson Ford. Goldey-Beacom pitching today. Guerreri and Heskett have combined to walk 5. Tusculum pitching has walked 6, all of them by Hall. They've also struck out 17 Lightning batters in this game. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Bryson Ford. The bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 8th. Pitch. High, 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike, the count to Bryson Ford. No place to put him. 3-1 the count. Heskett, who got out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam back in the 5th. Ready to work. 3-1 pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. So now the merry-go-round begins. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 8th, tied at 5. McDade off from 3rd, Urban from 2nd, Martin from 1st. 3-2 the count to Ford. Ford with a good eye at the plate. The stretch. And the 3-2 pitch. Hit to left field, hit pretty well. Going back on is the left fielder. He looks up, it's off the fence. Off the top of the fence, 3 runs are going to score as Ford rolls into 2nd with a bases clearing double. That ball was over Parsons' head and came within about 2 feet of being a grand slam, but instead it's a 3-run double for Bryson Ford, and the Pioneers lead it 8-5. Ford with the big hit there for the Pioneers unclears the bases. As this one was drilled to left, Parson went back, and the ball hit about 1.5 feet away from the top of the fence. And 3 runs score easily as all the runners were off on the pitch. And this will be it for Heskett as the Pioneers have the lead 8-5 here in the 8th inning. New pitcher coming on for Goldey-Beacom. We'll have his information when we come back. Bottom of the 8th, Tusculum 8, Goldey-Beacom 5 on the Pioneer Sports Network. New pitcher for Goldey-Beacom will be the right-hander Andrew Emery. Emery is 6'1", 180-pound sophomore out of Newark, Delaware. He'll try and limit the damage behind Heskett, who surrendered the 3-run double to Bryson Ford. Emery making his season debut on the mound. Last year in 9 appearances had a 1-1 record with a 4.41 earned run average. He threw 16 in the 3rd innings, allowed 22 hits. Struck out 7, walked 8. Opponents hit .314 against Andrew Emery last season. He'll face Nate Montgomery, who has singled twice to knock in runs each time, hit by pitch, and grounded out. 8-5 Tusculum here in the bottom of the 8th inning on a 3-run double by Bryson Ford. First pitch is taken high for a ball. All those runs unearned because of the leadoff error on the ball hit by McDade. 1 ball and no strikes to count to Nate Montgomery. Stretch by Emery in the pitch. Popped up foul out of play. It's a ball and a strike. So the intentional walk to Martin, that's the right play there. You do that every time. Martin has said that the Pioneers' most dangerous hitter. But Ford came through with the 3-run double. And Tusculum has the lead 8-5. Emery looks in for the sign. Comes set, and the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. That double the only hit of the inning for the Pioneers, who have out-hit Goldey-Beacom 9-5 in this game. One and two the count to Montgomery. The stretch by Emery. 1-2 pitch. Low and outside, blocked by Solis. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two the count to Nate Montgomery. Trey Hinton, the first baseman, waits on deck. And now Emery steps off the rubber. So we have creeped past the 3-hour mark in this one. First pitch was at 2:01 this afternoon. One more to follow, a 7-inning game coming up. Pickoff play at second base, back safely with the dive is Ford. Two and two the count to Nate Montgomery. Pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from the catcher, so Solis has trouble picking it up. Now he wings it down the right field line, and coming in to score is Ford. It was a wild pitch, and Solis couldn't pick the ball up, and then his throw goes sailing down the right field line, as in to score is Ford to make it a 9-5 game. Solis went to pick up the ball to throw to first and didn't pick it up right away, and then he kind of panicked a little bit, and then his second attempt just got away from him as he kind of threw a hand grenade down the first baseline, and it just went on past the first baseman, Clark, who had no chance. And in to score comes Ford, and it's 9-5. Hinton skies one to left field. Parson backing up, still backing up, and it's over his head. It's in play. Montgomery's chugging around third. The relay throw from Hill is going to be cut off as Montgomery scores, and the Pioneers add another run. It's 10-5. Parson got all twisted around out there, and that'll be a double for Hinton, his third RBI of the game, as in to score is Montgomery. Now batting for the Pioneers is the designated hitter Zach Fincham as Tusculum is batted around. Pitches strike to Zach Fincham. Next pitch is low. Ball and a strike. One ball, one strike to count to Zach Fincham, as Tusculum's exploded for 5 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pitch is outside, 2-1. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Hinton, or to Fincham. Emery with the set, and the 2-1 pitch coming to Zach Fincham. Fouled away to the backstop, 2-2. Two balls and two strikes to count to Zach Fincham. Fincham is 0 for 3 with a walk. Fincham steps in with a 2-2 count. The stretch by Emery. 2-2 pitch. Inside, almost hit him, full count. McDade, who started the inning by reaching on an error, waits on deck. 5 runs here for Tusculum in the bottom of the 8th inning. Long look in by Emery. 3-2 pitch. Cued back to the mound. Emery has it on the backhand. He fires to first in time for the out, and the inning comes to an end. But 5 runs in the inning for the Pioneers, 2 hits. There were 2 errors and 1 left on base. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It's Tusculum 10, Goldey-Beacom 5 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love.
Top of the 9th inning here at Pioneer Park, and Andrew Willis out there to try and finish this one off. He's struck out 6 and allowed 1 hit in 3 innings of relief, as now he's pitching with a 10-5 lead here in the 9th. Leading off for Goldey-Beacom is the left fielder, Maurice Parson, who's struck out twice, walked and scored, and flied out. Takes the strike from Willis. Willis with 2 strikeouts in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. He's retired 9 of the 10 batters he's faced, and that's swing and a miss for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Maurice Parson. It'll be Parson, Abdul, and Clark due up in the 9th as that pitch is outside 1-2. 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Pioneers. The big blow, a 3-run double by Bryson Ford. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Parsons down on strikes for the 3rd time. 18 strikeouts today by Pioneer pitching. As Abdul will step in. Abdul singled twice, driving a pair, struck out and popped up. One ball and no strikes to count to Abdul. Hit in the air to center field. DeHaven tracking it back. Still going back. Still going back. It's over his head. Pick it up on the warning track as Abdul will roll into second base with his 3rd hit of the game. It's a double. And he is a 1-out base runner. Drove that one that just kept sailing over. That was not winded at all. That ball was just crushed. Calvin Clark, the first baseman, will bat. He has struck out 3 times and grounded out. Again, Tusculum pitching struck out 18 batters in this game. Call up the old record book and see where that rates for a single game. Willis's pitch is taken for a strike. I don't even think it's a season high, to be honest with you. We'll check that out here. Yeah, they're going to be nowhere close to the record for strikeouts by pitching in a game is 24 against Catawba back in 2016. Pioneers' season high for strikeouts by as a staff is 19 against Belmont Abbey. That was a game that Hall struck out 16. That was only in 8 innings. Tusculum lost that game 5-3. 2 balls and a strike the count here to Clark. It's a ball. Got to refresh my memory about that 2016 game against Catawba. Swing and a miss, strike 2. That was a 13-inning game. That was the game. I thought so. Placido Torres struck out 12 in 6 2/3 innings, and Devin Watts struck out 12 in 5 1/3 innings of relief. 3-2 pitch outside corner called strike 3. Another strikeout for Willis. His 8th strikeout of the game. 19 strikeouts by the pitching staff. And Cole Collins, the last chance here for Goldey-Beacom. He has struck out, doubled and scored, walked and singled. All 9 batters in the lineup have struck out at least once. Strike 1. So Willis 1 out away from picking up the victory. As he has come in and just been firing. 8 strikeouts. Stretched by Willis in the pitch. Chop foul. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count to the third baseman Cole Collins. With 2 outs here in the 9th inning and Tusculum leading 10-5. Again, game 2 will start at about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. The stretch by Willis. 0-2 pitch. Hit it to right field. Urban is there, and he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Andrew Willis, what a job he's done in relief today for the Pioneers. 4 scoreless innings to pick up the victory, and Tusculum rallies from a 5-2 deficit to win it by a score of 10-5. We'll have the recap of this one for you in just a moment. Your final: Tusculum 10, Goldey-Beacom 5 on the Pioneer Sports Network.
The first date. Only one chance to make that first impression. Don't worry, this might be new for you, but Ingalls has been there before. From flowers to the freshest ingredients, we have everything you need to put your best foot forward.
I'm so sorry.
Remember, you can't get to happily ever after without once upon a time. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Back here at Pioneer Park, where Tusculum has rallied for a 10-5 victory over Goldey-Beacom in Game 1 of this doubleheader. To recap this ball game, the Pioneers scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning, as Nate Montgomery singled home Dalton Martin with the first run of the game, and then Trey Hinton drove in Bryson Ford on a ground out to make it 2-0. Goldey-Beacom got to Tusculum starter Charles Hall in the second inning. Hall walked 4 batters, including Maurice Parson with the bases loaded, to make it a 2-1 ball game. And then Brandon Abdul with a 2-run single, a throwing error on the play made it 4-2 Goldey-Beacom after 2 innings. The Lightning added a run in the third inning on a double steal as Cole Collins led off with a double and then eventually scored on a double steal to make it 5-2. Pioneers got a run back in the bottom of the third inning. Dalton Martin doubled with 1 out and scored on a 2-out single by Nate Montgomery to make it 5-3. Pioneers threatened in the fourth. They had runners at first and second, nobody out, runners at second and third with 2 outs, but could not score. In the fifth, the Pioneers tied it against Goldey-Beacom starter Mitch Guerreri, as Dalton Martin led off with a double and then eventually scored on a bases-loaded walk to Trey Hinton. That made it a 5-4 game. The Pioneers still had the bases loaded, nobody out, but relief pitcher Jake Heskett came in and got 2 pop-ups and a strikeout to keep the lead 5-4. Goldey-Beacom went in turn in the sixth against Andrew Willis, and then the Pioneers tied it in the bottom of the sixth as Seth DeHaven led off with a triple, scored on a bunt by Jaden Stiegel to tie it at 5-5. The game stayed tied until the bottom of the eighth inning when Jarrell McDade led off, reaching on an error. He stole second. Sam Urban drew a walk, and they were sacrificed over by Seth DeHaven. Stiegel grounded out for the second out of the game, and then the inning, and then Dalton Martin drew an intentional walk to load the bases. On a 3-2 pitch, Bryson Ford hit one about 2 feet from the top of the fence in left field, as all 3 runners scored to make it 8-5. Ford would then score on a strikeout wild pitch, and then a double by Trey Hinton knocked in the final run to make it 10-5, as Willis closed it out in the top of the ninth inning. For the Pioneers, Dalton Martin 3 for 4 at the plate with 4 runs scored. Ford 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Montgomery also 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Hinton was 1 for 4 but knocked in 3 runs for the Pioneers. For Goldey-Beacom, Brandon Abdul 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Cole Collins 2 for 4 with a run scored. Final line score for Tusculum: 10 runs, 10 hits, 3 errors, and 8 runners left on base. Goldey-Beacom 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. They left 8. Andrew Willis, the winner in relief, he's now 1-2. Jake Heskett takes the loss. He drops to 0-1. Time of the game was 3 hours and 22 minutes. Charles Hall went 5 innings for the Pioneers, allowed 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned. He walked 6, struck out 11. In relief, Willis threw 52 pitches, 38 strikes, just 14 balls, struck out 8 of the 14 batters he faced to earn the victory. Heskett allowed 5 runs, just 1 earned in 3 2/3 innings of relief, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. Guerreri allowed 4 runs on 4 innings with 7 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Andrew Emery got the final out at the bottom of the 8th inning for the Lightning. So Tusculum with the win now 7-7. They've won 6 in a row. Goldey-Beacom drops to 1-2 with the loss. Game 2 of our doubleheader will start approximately 6 o'clock. It'll be a 7-inning game. You'll be able to catch it here on the Pioneer Sports Network. For our producers, Sonia Palmer, and for Nick Forsberg, I'm Jim Miller. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch the highlights of this game on our Tusculum Pioneers YouTube page coming up later on this evening. And, of course, the recap on our website, too, at TusculumPioneers.com. Thanks for tuning in to Game 1 of our doubleheader, Tusculum 10, Goldey-Beacom 5. I'm Jim Miller on the Pioneers Sports Network.